Hey guys, welcome back, and we're already in week 8 of Super Rugby AU. This week around, we have the third team versus the fourth team in the Rebels versus the Force. The Force, they can actually go third if they beat the Rebels by quite a big margin, but I don't think that's going to happen because if you look at recent history, the last 9 games have been decided by a single point margin. So it's been close games in the last 9 games. If you do look at the season so far for the two teams, both not having the best of seasons. The Rebels a bit better, 2 from 5. They had 2 losses, then 2 wins. You thought their season is improving a bit, and then they got a bit of a hiding by 25 points to the Reds. The Force, they have only 1 win from 25 games. There was a couple of close calls in there. The 1 win coming against the Waratahs, 2 close games there, and then the last game they played was a hiding against the Brumbies, and then they had a bye, so 2 weeks to prepare for this game, while the Rebels probably only prepared for this in 1 week because they had a big game last week around. If you do look at the two squads, not too many changes from the Rebels. There's a bit more changes from the Force. There's a couple of injuries, that's why they had to make those changes. Both front rows make changes with Medrano coming in, the Argentinian. He's been scrumming really well so far for the Force this season. Him and Robertson are going up against two guys that have quite characters in the front row set up in Australia. Farmasili and Yellow being a big South African carrying the ball forward every time he gets a ball. Farmasili doing the same thing. Very strong scrum there for the Rebels. Hansen comes in, the veteran for the Rebels, in this week up against Kaitu'u, who has the tendency to get a couple of overthrows every week around. I say this, but it does still happen. Jeremy Thrush, he goes to number 4. Liotta getting his first start of the season at number 4 as well for the Rebels. Then Tamani at number 5. He was a shock call up to the Wallabies camp, or the first team of the Wallabies this year around. Hosea, a guy that I think is a future Wallabies prospect. He's been playing really well so far this year and the year before, so the second row battle is going to be a big one. Getting to number 6, Lee Warner, always a big battle when he is on the park, carrying the ball very strongly so far this season. Kameni at number 6 for the Rebels. Hardwick at 7 against Koteka, two guys that will go for the ball at breakdown time, and they like carrying the ball forward as well. Then at number 8, quite a strange selection with Lozana at number 8. I can't say that I've seen him play there quite often. He's a guy that can play both 6 and 7, so 8 is probably in his repertoire as well. So Lozana against Wales, Kubeli, another Argentinian. All 4 of the Argentinian guys that are playing at the Force are getting their first start together this week around. Powell at number 9 for the Rebels, up against Kubeli, as a big battle there. Probably the one to look out for, the one of those that has the upper hand this week around will probably win the game for their side, because Kubeli, you know what he can do if he has one of his fast games, get a couple of snipes through and scores a couple of tries. Powell, he does the same thing. Tumua at number 10, the veteran, up against Miotti. Miotti getting his first start next to Kubeli as well. That is a better mix, I think, as well. So 8, 9, 10, all Argentinian players. I think that is the right call for the Force as well. Tumua, he's been in brilliant form so far this year, off of the tee as well. Godwin coming in at number 12, his first game back from his injury he sustained in the preseason. He's also captaining the side in his first game back. Why not? Holland at number 12, he is a 7-star, so a bit of speed coming in there. Both teams changing their number 12, so the midfield combination could be a bit strange in the start of the game. There could be a bit of mistakes as well, but I think it would be adjusted quite quickly. Ili, he's been in good form for the Rebels so far. So has Kuridrani. Still not as good as we know him to be, but defensive-wise, he's been managing that backline for the Force quite well. Ralston at number 14 versus Lomani. Lomani was quite shockingly good last week at number 14. He's actually a scrum half playing at wing. That's his second position. He's very quick, has a good step. He cut through the Reds line a couple of times last week. Kuribeti at number 11, also a very quick guy. Then the English number 11, Olowafela. He's going to want to prove what he can do with his first start for the team. Jack McGregor continues at number 15 with Carney still being injured. And then Reece Hodge getting his first game this season at number 15. Probably the position I think he does play the best in. He doesn't play there much for the Rebels, with Haylett Petty playing there most of the time. So let's see what he can do. he's been scoring quite well for them, especially with those long range kicks. On the benches, the force bench is an extended bench, so 2 of those guys won't pitch up for this game, so it always makes my week difficult to actually predict how things are going to go. Ulysses on the bench for the Rebels as their hooker. He's not been so good when he came back from his injury. Reddy and Winchester is there for the force as well. Sordoni, the prop for the Rebels, he'll want to prove what he can do against his other Argentinian teammates playing for the force. Longbottom, a guy to look out for. Brad Wilkin, also back for the Rebels. I want to see what he does. Tuttle, Pincus and Skelton, the backline replacement for the Rebels. Pryor, Makara and then Gahui, the backline replacements for the force. Guys, if you go to a prediction in this one, I do think it's going to be like the last 9 games. It's going to be a close one to call. I do think the Rebels have been in good form so far this season. The force, they've been in mixed emotions so far. A guy like McGregor, since he came into number 15, they've scored brilliant tries, but they've also kind of had a few defensive lapses. So I think the Rebels to win this one by 11 points. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you do like the channel. And then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.